How goes it? I'm just gonna do a little drive here. Video's gonna be kind of long, but you'll enjoy it, I promise. So I'm just getting ready to go into town here and get a few things. Got some stuff cleaned up inside of my place and took the trash over to the trash can, and FedEx dropped a package off at an address I instructed them to drop it off at. That is this right here. Those are the batteries. The batteries for the power box. Anyway, I don't know what road I'm on here. It's just a little connector road to a main dirt road. But I'm gonna put a link in the description box for where I got onto, or where I'm going to connect to the next road. Yeah, which is Old Modena Road. Old Modena Road. And although this is not the kind of drive you want to just go and take if you're just driving around, you know, you're gonna do something like this if you're going out into the area to vacation for a day or two. Preferably when the weather's more stable. Right now it's windy, cool, might be muddy in places. Just rained a couple of days ago. Or, well, yeah, a couple of days, I suppose. For me, time just kind of mixes together. That's how I live my life. So funny, I'm getting my bed fixed up, you know, so I can have the bed to sleep in again, since the cats took over that back bedroom. But last night I thought, you know, I can do this chair for another night. I'll get it done and more tomorrow and get it finished up. But then I realized I need some things from the store. And then FedEx said that this package was being delivered, which I think it was supposed to be tomorrow. But anyway, so I zoomed over after getting all the trash gathered up, and zoomed over. Well, I had it gathered up, but anyway, put it in the Jeep. Well, that looks pretty with the sunlight. A little bit of glistening on the water. Anyway, got that loaded up and I took all the trash over to the trash can nearby. And of course, you know, from there I took off. That was just after I went over and got the package, because timing was just about right where I got over in the area where it was delivered to, and it was delivered about the time I got over there. So grabbed that and did the trash dump, and then headed over here. The reason I'm doing this is because the other day I promised myself I would, despite the fact that I don't have much money for gas to do this, but I'm doing it because I promised myself I would. Here is Old Modena Road, and it goes from way over there. I'm going to zoom this in so you can see better. Let's see here. I'm going to try not to shake too much because it's hard to do for me. It's a good thing I'm not a surgeon. Right, there's those two short little stumps there, and then the bigger one, a bigger mountain. Come on, zoom in more. I guess that's as far as it goes. Right there at the edge of the antenna. Right between those two is where the road heads out over kind of to the highway. There's some bad spots. Wouldn't recommend trying to do it with a car. Probably mud out there right now. You can see that it's quite a bit lower than where I'm at. That's the valley out there. And let me see. right about that way, straight out. Probably a good 20 miles or so. That's where my place is. Kind of funny, huh? Anyway. Yeah, that's Modena Canyon over there. Over going into the mountains there. That's a rough road, but it's a beautiful drive through there all the way over to well, there's some highways over. You can take some roads going to different ways, and one of them's, I think, Highway 20, 21, yeah, 21. Or you can divert over the mountains when you get further out there, 40 miles or so, and go south, or no, west, and get over towards Highway 93. It's a long drive. You can do that through here too. It's a little shorter, but it's not 93. It's Highway 56. That's a long ways through here too. Done it once. Very serene drive. I think it's more through that way though. Quiet and long. But we're gonna go that way. So here we go. And this is Old Modena Road. I'm gonna put a little mark here on the mappy thing, and well, it won't be a mark on there, but it'll be where I, you know, tell the computer to save, or yeah, copy and paste. And I'll put it in the description box. And then when you load it up, it'll be Googly Maps. I hope that works for you. It seems to do all right. I've been using it for years to tell me where to go. Sometimes it leads me on a road that I didn't quite want to go on, but I've been places where I thought this other Jeep I had before this one would never go because it was a two-wheel drive. And it went. Sometimes it was so far into places, turning around would have been kind of harder to get out of anyway, you know, going back, take more gas, and just finishing it out. Found myself on this road way out yonder, way about, I'm gonna say 60 to 80 miles that way, and it was way up high in the mountains, and I went up quite a pass to get to it. And all of a sudden it got bad, and it was steep. The only choice was to go 15, 20 miles an hour up the incline, up through the rough stuff. Rougher than this, if you can even tell on the camera, I don't know. And I did it. I made it up it. Wow. That was one place I'll probably never go with a two-wheel drive again. Because one wrong move, I would have been off wrong one side or the other. There's a ridge road with very narrow sides. Once I got to the top of the ridge, it settled out into a narrow, but I'm trying to explain it. Good road, pretty good. Kind of a shallow ravine, you know. Wasn't real wide, but it was shallow, and it didn't. Well, it just kind of went down and then out of there to another road. It's a long time ago. I don't even know where I was at exactly, or else I'd say so. I found it by accident, and it was late afternoon. I was going somewhere out in Nevada, because as you know, Nevada is that way. I'm sure you know that. That's southwest. Or maybe that's probably south, looking that way. Just about. Right now yep, that'd be south because this thing's going, I gotta stop and get it on the camera and then you can see it. I don't know if that's showing up for you. I'm gonna try to, there we go. Oh, I had it. Didn't I? This camera is not being very helpful. What am I looking at? Anyway, it says southeast. I don't know if it came up on there or not. Can't see it very well on the screen here. I got the screen turned down. Saves power on the phone. I wonder if the sheep are still up here. It was here up here the other week or two ago. Bunch of sheepdogs. Not, you know, the breed of sheepdogs, but dogs that are watching over the sheep nonetheless. I think some of them were Great Pyrenees. I think. The other one was some other kind of dog. I was trying to do a video then and it didn't turn out because the light was too dim. It was the end of the day. It was beautiful nonetheless, but too dim. So, doing it again. This time in the middle of the afternoon. I think it's about 3 o'clock or so. 3:30 maybe. I do have to kind of be careful with how I drive through here. There's some bad spots. And I got a track bar wearing out on me slowly but surely. The other day when I was headed home with some supplies, the vehicle was weighed down and the track bar was more reactive, and I could definitely tell it's not doing the job like it used to. It's got a couple of loose joints, probably both ends. Been on here for a while and I'm hard on stuff with these dirt roads. Well, maybe I'm not, it's just the way it is. I could go even slower and maybe help it last half an hour longer, but it takes me 3 hours longer to get where I'm going. If you can understand that wisdom. So I've got a new one stored away right now. I'm gonna put it in as soon as I feel like doing it. Which would be right now if it was a warmer day and I didn't have to do anything. I might have done it today. Just for something different to do other than cleaning inside. I can't tell you how many times I've cleaned up a big mess that I make. Perhaps hundreds of times. My nature to be messy in this life. But not on purpose, it just happens to me. Unless someone else is around to keep me not occupied. On track. So I clean when I need to. Such as mom or dad or girlfriend or wife, whatever have you. Suppose even my kids would have done something, said something. Sadly for haven't had, well, I don't know, it's been a long time since I've seen them. But yeah, great kids, both of them. My earthly ones. My earthly kids. Yeah, if you don't know, I've had a significant part in the design of the creation of the universe. It's not a thing I'm going to be all, there's the doggy dogs, you know. I'm not going to tell you all of my, what I don't know and what I can't remember yet. But I'm going to tell you right now, what I have remembered and realized confirms exactly what I started realizing at the first of it all about 10 years ago. I didn't talk about it for a long time though. I thought, you know, if this is the case, because it could happen this way, and after all, watch out, sheepies, I'm gonna roll through here, guys. There's a lot of them, huh? Yeah. I'll try to go down. That one don't want to move off to my right here. Probably not feeling good. You just gotta kind of know what they're gonna do. Alright, here we go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, fellas. Oh, watch out, fella. Watch out, buddy. Don't bite the tire. It's not gonna taste good. There we go. Try not to put a hole in the tire. Dogs love to chase cars, don't they? Alright, get ready for some awesome terrain beauty. Not a whole lot of trees or anything out here, but the terrain is quite something. You don't see areas like this everywhere. And sometimes it's similar, but not quite the same. I smell gasoline. I think one of my gas cans is venting just a bit. Oh well. It's not too bad. One way you can tell when you got too much fuel vapor around you is it'll act like a, what do you call it, something that makes you sleepy, kind of, but not exactly. Nauseous. It'll make you nauseous. And then you'll get tired. You'll actually get so tired you might go to sleep. There's too much fume. And then you probably would die. That way, goes on over to the next road over, and there's a few other little things here and there, not much. Another road that goes off yonder, but you can get lost out there pretty easy. Not all the roads are very great. This one's got some spots you wouldn't want to take a car through unless it had a little bit bigger tires on it, but yeah, wouldn't recommend it. You're going to put a hole in one or you're going to put a hole in the oil pan, one or the other. Bigger tires though, less of a chance of either problem happening. I'm talking like 33 to 35 inch tires, yeah. You know, outer circumference. Or diameter, as they say. If we want to be technical about all that, I don't think so, but yeah. So this part in creation I have figured out is that it's just like a family complex here on Earth, where each family has had all the life experience and all that already, build the universe. That's how I've had a part in it, is with the family of my own. I've always wondered, why haven't I fit in enough to be, you know, what I am here, which is definitely a family man. And that's the reason why it wasn't meant to really happen here again. Not that it couldn't, but you know, through this earlier part of life, it was partially meant to happen, but not in the way I was dreaming. So I needed all the experiences to wake me up, get me awoken. Look up spiritual awakening and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. For many humans, it's a reality. And for me, it's a much different and more significant reality, but almost the same awakening experiences, which have been so incredible. Hi guys. I've had some experiences I can't explain, no matter how I try to think about it. It's just no way I would have been able to get through those things that were troublesome without the learning I've had from all the awakening experiences that give me kind of a leg up ability. The first step, you know, before actually having to step into reality of what I'm doing. I'm prepared for whatever I'm going to do because of how and what I learned through the awakening so far. It's given me an extreme amount of, or an extreme array of sensibilities that go far beyond the five senses. And it's not all like touch, feeling, and taste. It's an expanse of the mind, and that goes through the spiritual understanding of the self. Knowledge that people don't really teach each other, but they figure it out on their own. So you kind of go through your own personal quest. You get help along by the angels because they know exactly what you're doing. They're not stupid. With all of them together doing the work they do, it's a major army of spiritual beings helping you through it. Over 11,000 at a time, helping at every moment. So that wherever you go, they're around, watching, making sure you don't accidentally make a wrong move. Whether it might seem like the right move to you or not, they know it's the right move for you. Such as one of the experiences I had with the blown radiator. And I was listening to intuition, the things that I was being led to realize. I'd already picked up the materials I needed to patch that radiator with. I'd already been in a perfect area where I stopped to find a few extra materials I needed to patch that radiator with. And I patched it. I already had the water with me. Somebody had said, you know, take some water with you before you go out there to the desert. You know, you never know. That was just a random thing, but also a spiritual form of a synchronization. And so there I'm out in the middle of nowhere near Dugway. Well, miles away from Dugway, like probably 30 or 40, out in the mountains. And pa-boom, there goes the radiator. Splashing stuff everywhere. Up through the little creases in the hood. There's the 95 Jeep, by the way, not this 97. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I hope it's not so bad. Maybe it's just the radiator cap, I thought. Might have just blown open a little valve, you know. So it was just after I shut the engine off, which was what the interesting thing was. I stopped for a minute after climbing a hill. There was an old ranch at, you know, the top of this mountain road, which went up 3 or 4 miles up a incline about like that. Not real steep, but, you know, it had neat little bumps like this that were pretty long bumps, so that it didn't tax the suspension too much. And I was just kind of easing along through that, having a good time. Sometime along there, having a good time, it jiggled the radiator loose, more than it already was, because it didn't have the proper mounts. And it put a hole in it on the radiator fan cooler switch, or what do you call that? The fan switch, the thing that has the temperature deal in it that starts the fan. Yeah, I forget what they call those. Anyway, it's on the radiator fans of most cars. That's got it hooked to the belt on an engine. So there I am looking at the little circle that it made on the radiator and thinking, yeah, it didn't leak from there, but it looked like it had leaked down through there for a while because I could see the dried up streak. And I looked over to where it was more wet, and there was a big hole in that side tank. About a silver dollar size hole. Yeah. I rolled down the hill after starting it for a few seconds to get it going, and then turned it off again, making sure I didn't lose too much momentum, and then started it when I needed it to go back up hills. And then got down to a flat area about another mile or so after I got flat. I was just watching the engine temp off and on and rolling it along. It never got too far past 3/4 on the temp gauge, so not really past hot. And I found this camp spot and got in there and stopped. Opened the hood back up and started looking in the back because I knew what I had to do. Got all the materials that I figured would work, which was a miracle in itself that it was everything I had picked up recently through synchronized events, seeing them and just saying to myself, is that something I should grab right now or not? And then my senses to me, like, you know, the ones that tell you yes or no, we're saying yes, grab it. And so I did. Baling wire and some other odds and ends. And the one thing I needed was at that spot where I stopped and opened the hood. Right in front of where I stopped, actually, about 7 or 8 feet, maybe, over in the bushes was an aluminum can. because I needed something to help with the backing, you know, that I sealed up to the plastic of the tank. And I barely wired it all on there after the glue dry. I got the glue set a little bit, or let it set a little while, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. And I tightened it up. Hey guy, or girl, gal. Anyway, yeah. And I waited another 4 or 5 hours, I suppose, until it started getting dark. Put the fluid in, well, it was water, but filled her back up and headed over back towards, I don't know, it's that little highway that goes up into Tooele. Anyway, it was like 60 miles or so out of Tooele where I was at. About halfway along the way, the radiator started leaking a little more. I think the glue just couldn't take the pressure, and the baling wire probably was pushing out. And I thought, uh-oh, okay. And then it started getting hot. Had one of them glow light deals, you know. And I could see it starting to get cherry. I was like, okay, time to stop, get more water. So as soon as I seen a convenience store, which was not too far ahead, I got water from there in my jugs and filled it back up. Got more water and proceeded on to Tooele. At that time, my dad was still alive and well. He had a trailer which was able to haul cars. So he came and got me and picked up me in the Jeep. Took us back to Layton. And then I got a new radiator and all that and fixed it. And made sure it wasn't going to move again either. Gotta kind of pay attention here. It was rough a bit, just a little bit. I hope you're enjoying the drive. I think you are. Never tried this road. I think it just probably goes up there a little bit. I'm gonna take a quick look for you. Not gonna go far, just up there a little bit. Looks very unused. Well, looks like this is the end of the road here, unless the guy wants to risk his bones down there. In other words, ball joints and things. Yeah, it's quite a view. Kind of over that way is where we'll headed towards, over the mountains. That's where we'll be at here in 45 minutes or so. Alrighty. And there's the other road that goes yonder over to the other adjacent dirt road that I made a video of the other day going to Enterprise. Yep. Suppose I'll link that one at the end of this so you can watch it if you want. Yeah. That one there's some other places you can go, like over there. I think over there. You can get you lost out there and waste your gas, but anyway, it's nice. So, okay, I'm gonna turn around and head back. Yeah, there's another one of them over there where it goes. That's a steep one there. Right there at the top of that little peakage there. Or I guess berm. The berm. You can maybe see it, I don't know. It's hard to see. That's a steep one. But it goes up over there and continues off back over that way. And I think it might even go that way for like somewhere else you can't drive. Anyway, it's been a while. One more view. Here's the mountains I want to go check out, but they're still snowy. Way out there. Yep. Hurry up and melt snow. Yeah. Oh well. Ooh, smelling that gas again. I think I better check out this situation. This one. Oh, I see it. A little damp right there. Just gotta probably tighten her up. That's pretty tight already. It's unbelievable that it's leaking. It's not very much though. Just a slight bit. Maybe moving that around might help it. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. No regrets. Well, that's pretty from here. Yeah. Alright, here we go, here we go. Well, I could almost sit here and take a nap. It's so quiet and nice. And then wake up and look at the view. Oh, that's neutral. Neutralis. We're heading off that way, I think. Yeah, I do believe so. Kind of check things out here for a second. Wow, it's almost looks like there's a road over there, but I think it's just the color of dirt. Yep. Here we go. Easy, presto, easy. Not too fast. I always try to think like my old man. You know, he was a strict old guy. He would have pinched my ear for going fast like that. It made me remember when I wasn't doing something quite exactly proper is what he figured it should be. Yep. Alright, here we go. We gotta be conscientious on this corner. Try to miss that rock with the back tire. Yep, there we go. Okay. More mountains with snow. You know, I might be able to go up into those mountains one day, but the road that goes up there is so steep and rough. I think it's a four-wheeler kind of road, actually. Used to be an old mine up there, I think, somewhere in those mountains way out up there. It's got snow. Oh, oh. Couple 3 or 4 years I went out up there in there and with a 2-wheel drive Jeep, probably 3 years ago or so, and I realized it ain't gonna go as far as I can go, or maybe it could go without having trouble. So I found a turn around and turned around, but the nice thing about it was the turnaround area had a nice little cove sort of area off the road, you know. There was a tire swing, firewood stacked up, ready to be used, campfire pit, and nice grass to put your tent on. Yep. Somebody built a real sweet camp spot there. I'll show it to you someday if I feel the need. I don't know, maybe who made it. It might be the person who made it wants to try to keep it on the down low. I'll let my intuition tell me. Here's a road that goes off through the mountains over to Highway 56, I do believe. Yeah. It's a drive. The N5. Yep, and it's not the N5 the whole way, I don't think. It changes. I believe I used my GPS for the first time. And then the next time I did it, I just followed my nose, so to speak. But I did it at night, first time with GPS through there. Made it all the way through with no problem. It's got some spots that you might want to be cautious on. Don't do it with a car. With no car of any kind. I think there are pretty bad spots through there that a car would not do. This one, I think a car with a little lift under it, like an old Ford Fairmont or LTD, something like that would probably do all right. Because you know, them cars had 6 or 8 inches underneath them, depending on how much they were loaded, and pretty good sized tires. Like the old Chevy Novas too, same big tires, and a supple amount of room under the car to go over things. They weren't built to be racing, you know, they were just cars with V8s in them, or straight 6s, depending on what you got. That old Ford straight 6 was a pretty stout motor, actually. And probably the GM's inline 6 as well. Stout. Inline 6s and most inline 4 engines will outlast any V-style motor. And definitely outlast any rotary style motor. It's just happier as an engine. They don't put out as much horsepower though. Somebody years ago told me once, you know, the Jeep engine's about a cubic inch size to horsepower engine. I was like, what do you mean? He says, well, it's a 242. About the most you're going to get out of it with a little this and that is about 242 horsepower. I says, oh, I see. He means with some minimal modifications is what that guy meant. He had a 97, like this one. It's back in 2003 or so. Yeah. And I was partying with friends, and he'd gotten stuck on a rock out on this old road. Kind of an old road like this one, but it was in a lot worse shape. And he come walking up to our campsite. He says, hey, you guys gotta come along or tow rope you can pull me out with? And I was like, well, we're all pretty buzzed here. I don't think we'll be driving anything right now, but I'll walk with you, see if we can help you. And I brought along my strap. It was a long, long strap, 3-inch wide strap. And we unraveled it and got it all entangled. Hooked it up to his axle that was stuck on the rock and then over to a tree. And then me and him were bouncing on it and it wasn't budging. But then another friend decided to wander on over and he's all, hey, you guys, looks like fun, let me help. And he was a bigger guy. And he bounced on it too. And boy, oh boy, it moved. It popped that over an inch, that differential on the rock, and gave just enough to where he was able to get backed off of there. I think we pushed on it a little bit too to help it grip. But yeah, and we all got in after I put the strap in my lap, and I got in, and well, that was quite an experience there because he just went bloop right up on the side of the hill there with that thing and turned it around. I was like, holy crap, that's quite something. It was all modified for four-wheeling, you know. But that rock he was stuck on was really high, at least 18 inches high. So he had quite a bit of lift under there. Just barely got it stuck on under the pumpkin, so that it was making his left tire spin on the back, and the front one was digging in to the hillside, so it wasn't going anywhere till we got it popped off on the back. That was fun. But as we were on our way back, that's when he started talking about the horsepower to size comparison. Yeah, I don't know if he had done anything himself, but maybe he did. It did seem to have a lot of pep, but of course it was in four-wheel drive low, probably when he pushed it up the hill there to do kind of a three-point turn, you know. I mean, it was steep. Whoop. Yeah. That road I did take with the two-wheel drive, but I didn't go through there and get stuck on that rock the way he did. It was a little risky what I did. I took the lower side instead of trying to go over the pile of rocks. And I just went really slow, and on the way it kind of down off this little heap off to the side of the rocks. Only the wheel spun on the driver's side back, getting over one of the littler rocks of that pile of rocks that are all in the ground. Other than that, I got through there all right. And there was one other rough spot, but I just had momentum through it. And lucky for me, angels were looking after me, and somebody was coming through that area right as I was getting ready to go through. He was all looking under the Jeep, you know, because he wanted to look at my Jeep. I said, yeah, go ahead. I didn't know why. He looked under the front end. He's all, oh, just as I thought I seen. You don't have four-wheel drive. I says, yeah, I don't. But I've been through here 30 or 40 times on a three-wheeler, so I know what it's like. He's all, you remember that spot up there, don't you, with the unlevel area that goes up the hill? I says, yeah, I remember. I rolled the three-wheeler right there. He says, yeah, I bet you did. I said, well, he said, well, just make sure you go with good momentum. You should get up to that and over it okay. Just don't push it too hard. I said, yeah, I suppose that'll work. And I hadn't even thought about it yet. Been a while since I was there. Probably, let me think, about 4 years or so. 4 to 8 years. Not much had changed. It's still about the same kind of damage on the road, though. I swooped it right up. You know, it starts out like this, and it goes whoop, and then it goes up, and then it flattens out. And I just whoop, and got right up on there. One wrong move, it would have rolled back just like the three-wheeler did on me. And then it probably would have went off the mountainside instead of just stopping. It's a long ways down. Right off the front of the Bountiful Mountains. Yep. I was kissing my lucky stars that day when I rode the three-wheeler over there on that spot. I wasn't going very fast. That's partly why it happened, but if it would have happened going fast, it definitely would have been through. Last time I took that three-wheeler through was that day, through there. Now going the other way, it was fine, going from the high side, and you know, then kind of having it tilt this way and then going down and flatten out again. Wasn't so bad, because I could just lean back to the left and hold it flat, or hold the weight over, you know. But going up it, it was harder to gauge. So I always felt comfortable coming in from the other way, from the low side, which is down by the Bountiful Bee. There's some great camp spots up there, by the way. But you got to have a good four-wheeling rig to get up through there on that off-roading road that goes by the Bee. A lot of fun. I kind of miss that area. But this has got some areas like that around here, just not so close. You really got to drive to get to them. This area here, I don't think there's anything close like that off-roading road. But further to the southwest and south, yeah, definitely. And also to the north and northeast from here. Good 50 miles or so, I guess. Oop. You know what, I'm gonna make this a two-part video because I gotta check how much room's on this phone, and if it's getting low, I'm gonna dump the video over to the SD card. So I will be back at you guys in a minute, okay? And you'll see a link at the end of this one for the next one if you want to watch it now. All right, okay.